managed to get from Whitby to Nottingham with our leisure batteries. Our alternator belt snapped before we left Whitby. We got a jump start. We literally had to do a detour because the A1 is shut at Grantham. We've managed to limp in and find the only Euro car parts open in East Midlands and get a new alternator belt. Richard has been underneath. We literally got in here with no brake lights, no indicators.
All of an adjustable spanner, guys.
So we are still smiling. Do we need a gin or Prosecco? Yes, we do. But I've got to say, we've had a cracking weekend. It's been amazing with all the guys, seeing everybody again. Just what a way to end a trip, eh, Rich? We've got another hour and a half.
Let's go. Hello, welcome to Rich Biz Life's Adventures. Now, in the last video, you saw us have a brilliant time over at Whitby for the Halloween goth festival weekend. Now, it ended up in a bit of more of a nightmare than what we anticipated, thinking it was just going to be the goths that would give us the scare, but oh no, we had a snapped alternator belt. Just as we went to fire the engine up to go home, it went bang, snapped. Anyway, looking back, I don't know if you remember, on when I installed the electrics, I did a 50mm wire coming from the main starter battery through a 200 amp hour fuse through to an isolator switch, and then I came off the permanent side of the isolator switch then to my B2B battery charger, so that when I wanted to jump start off the leisure batteries, I know they're not designed for that, but it's just to get me out of the trouble, so if I'm stuck out in the middle of nowhere, I can just flip a switch. But because we had been on the batteries all weekend and there wasn't much solar, I depleted the batteries down quite a significant amount. So there was only running about 12.4 volts left in the batteries. So what I did is I got jump started off my good friend Dale Fisher from the Crafty Fishers, and I flipped the switch over to run off the leisure batteries because the main starter battery was dead. So we set off in the hope that we could get home. We had no power steering because the power steering runs off your alternator belt. Luckily enough, the water pump runs off your cam belt and the fan runs off its own separate belt. So I mean, all we was lacking was charging and power steering. Now, as long as we kept moving, the power steering was fine. Yeah, it's a bit hard on the slower corners and roundabouts and things, but I could cope with that. I'm big glad I managed to cope with it. However, as we got going along the A1, ping signs came up. Major accident on the A1 near Grantham. The A1 was closed, so we decided to detour off and we headed down the M62 and we was going to pick up the M1 all the way down. But then we was running out of fuel, so we couldn't do that much distance to what we wanted to do. So we decided to cut through the back roads and through Nottingham. We got as far as Nottingham and the leisure batteries reading like 9 volts. Starter battery still dead because obviously it's not charging. So then we started getting alerts on the dashboard. No ABS, no traction control. Went to indicate, the indicator stopped working. Brake light malfunctions popping up here, there and everywhere. The only thing that was running was the engine, and it was lacking in power. It was going into limp mode. It was lashing it down with rain. It was getting dark and overcast, and we decided to either find a Halfords or a Euro car parts or something like that. Now all the Halfords that we could find were only the service centres, and they were all shut on Sundays. So we quickly banged in our phone, Euro car parts, and we went there, and luckily enough it's the only Euro car parts open in East Midlands, and they happen to have the belt in stock. Now lo and behold, we pull up, the sun comes out, starts charging the batteries, and it stops raining. So anyway, the result was our alternator belt had snapped. I managed to put the other one on, the new one on. All I had was an adjustable spanner. Ironically, I normally take a full toolkit with me, but I took it out when we went to Whitby because I knew I had a lot of wood with me for the wood burner fire pit. So I had to balance the weight out. I couldn't go overloaded with tools and wood and water and all that. So I took the toolkit out, but managed to keep a screwdriver and an adjustable spanner, and thankfully I did, because otherwise I'd have had to buy tools from Euro car parks. Luckily enough, I can't say the name of the recovery company, but there's a nice man called Joe who was passing by. I managed to flag him down, and he kindly gave me another jump start. And of course, then once it is up and running with a new belt on, we was all good to go, and it's fully charged within no time, and the B2Bs were charging the leisure batteries. I'm not too concerned about the leisure batteries being depleted so low. It was for such a short period of time, it ain't going to hurt. I mean, plus next year as well, we're going for lithium anyway. So we're going to buy another one of these belts and keep it as a spare, along with, you only really need one spanner. So I'll make sure I've got that spanner and a spare belt with me, just so that in the future I won't have that issue again. So that just wraps up this short little video. I hope you enjoyed Whitby as much as we did. We absolutely loved it, and we met up with some great friends. We got some really good friends that we would call friends for life, and it was an amazing time. We just absolutely loved it. But anyway, that about wraps this up. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.